Hey, welcome to Mike's Trains. Today I want to do a little bit with lighting. I've actually started doing some of the lighting, and I'm using LEDs. So let's take a look at what I've done. All right. Well, to start off, these are what I'm using. These LEDs, they come in a roll, okay, and I like them. They're really good. They have some drawbacks. They have to be used in sets of 3, okay, because there's a resistor. You have to use them in sets of 3. So these are the cutoff points right here, these copper pads. So each set of these copper pads, that's a set of 3. And within the set of 3, there's a resistor right here, already set up in there. So you don't need to add resistors to these. That would be the hugest drawback, is that you have to use 3 of these at a time, okay? And it makes it really bright. And there are ways to get around it. One of the easiest ways is you can take some heavy black paint and you can black over some of the LEDs, but they're still really super bright. So let me show you what I did with these. So we have this, I only lit the machine shop side only because that is the only side that's going to go this way. So what we have is this. So let's take a look. Okay, so there's the inside of the roof, and I have 2 strips of LEDs, and obviously these are peeling up. I'm going to have to put some CA underneath here so that they don't peel up. So I have 1, 2, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 sets over here to light up the main side of the building. And then I have these sets here, and I believe this is 5, so you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets running over the long side of the building. So 6 sets go over the train itself, and then the other sets go over this the machine shop side. And then when we look over at this side over here, this building, I've also lit that building. Now that building, let's pull this out and I'll give you a look. I have my backdrops inside of here, as you can see. Alright, and then I brought up the wiring behind the backdrop in here. So, and then I have the LED on top of here, and again I'm gonna have to put CA underneath here to hold it because the adhesive on the self-stick stuff isn't quite enough, and I'm moving these things around way too much. So what I did was I wired the 2 sets under this roof. Let's back this up. There we go. Alright, so I wired the 2 sets together on this roof, and then I brought a set of wires from this strip here through a hole in the building over underneath the roof here into this building. So everything is wired into this set of lights, and then from this set of lights we have this set of wires. So those are all wired together. So that's how that's gonna go. And it works pretty well. The only thing I wanted to show you was what the lighting looks like. So let's set this up here, and we'll get a little focus. There we go. Okay, so as I said, they're very bright. So I have a 9-volt battery here hooked onto these batteries, onto these lights, and this is how bright they are, which is really super bright. And you can see I added some figures in the windows here, but that's really just way too bright. So what I did, because I don't want to put any kind of a dimmer on this at all, I'm going to add a resistor. Let's see, what did I do with it? I'm going to put a resistor in line between the power source and the lights. So this is a resistor. I don't really know what ohms it is. I just tried I happen to have this one from something else I did a long time ago, and I figured I'd give it a try. So this is what it does. Let me add this onto the line here. So I'm just twisting it in right here, and then we can take this and touch it on here. See, now it cuts the lighting down. Oh god, gotta be almost half. And now the figures actually show up a little more in the windows. You can see them better. So that's what's going to happen throughout. And if I add another resistor in line, and I do have another one, and I wanted to show you that. Here it is. So if I add another resistor in the line, and then we take this and put it on here, it cuts it even more. Okay, so now we're down a watt on the lighting. So I haven't decided if I want to do one resistor or two, but that's the idea. That's how that's going to happen. I may do, looking at it now, I may do the two resistors. I'm not sure. And then I'm not going to touch this other side of lighting. I'm waiting for some stuff to come in to do the Roundhouse side over here. I have a way I'm going to do this. I thought about it for a long time, and I came up with a way to get the lighting done in there. My concern was originally I was going to run a strip of LEDs on every other one of these bays underneath. But then the question was, how do I get the wire over these girder supports that are underneath here? There is no space to pass a wire. So that's going to require something different, and I have that all worked out now, but it's going to have to wait until my stuff comes in. So we'll tackle that in the next video. But for this one, I just wanted to give you the look and see, so you can see how this all works out for lighting. And it's really very simple. There's nothing more to it. And then these wires will go down behind the down under the layout. I'll just drill a hole under the building, and those will come out. So that's two resistors right there. And I think two resistors is actually enough in there to get that lit up nicely. Or maybe we'll do one resistor here and then two resistors on these and dim these down just a little bit more. So that's the idea for the lighting. That's exactly how I'm going to do it. And then the other thing I want to tackle in here is I want to talk about the roof. In the last video I did, I mentioned a little bit briefly on how I want to glue these roofs in, and I'm going to show you what I do with these roofs on this side right here. This side I had said, and I'm still not going to do it. I'm going to wait to glue this in until I have more. I want to put some sort of machine stuff underneath here inside the building, so I can't attach this just yet. And then the other reason that I want to make sure I glue it down is that I don't want any light leaking along the walls here. Most of the walls are fairly tight, so it doesn't leak, but and some suggestions were made as far as what I could do with it, to keep it removable, and I really don't want it removable. I'm going to glue it down, and I'll show you why. I'm going to do this roof now, and I'll show you how I do that. And this is how I do all the flat roofs that I do. So why don't we get started on that? Okay, so what I'm going to start with is I put inside of here, let's see if you can see it, right underneath of here, I put a little CA, and I'm just going to hold that down for a minute or two and let that dry and set. Okay. And as I said, we are gluing this roof down. This is going to be the full process, and I'm going to do the same process for this roof once I get my machinery in here, but that's going to be a couple of weeks before I get that. And we'll actually show that. I'll actually show that in the photo updates on my website when it's completed. So let me get a little micro brush, and then I'm going to add another little bit of CA. This isn't what's going to hold the whole roof down, but I'm going to add a little CA just to the cleat that goes around the inside that the roof sits on. And I don't need to cover the whole thing, but I need to get enough in there so that it's holding. Okay, so we'll push that in and then set the whole thing in like that, and then we'll hold that down for a minute like that. Now I know for a fact, because I've looked, the roof here does leak light around the edges. Okay, there's a small hairline crack right along this back edge. So before I handle that, why don't we take and attach these outside walls, because that's going to tell us where we have to seal up those outside walls. So I'm not going to use my normal glue on that. I'm just going to CA these walls into place. So now that's in place, and then we have the other small roof section right here that goes on top of that. So just like we did the lower roof, right along the cleat on the walls. Okay. So now we have this top section in place. Now there's only a small vent pipe that goes right here. But I'm going to wait to put that in. What I'm going to do now is I have a little bit of the 230 caulk that I used to lay down my tracks with, and that's what we're going to use to seal all the cracks and gaps in the ceiling. So I wish I had a small spreader type thing, but we'll take that. Okay, so here's the caulk in here. Now I'm just going to take this and I'm just going to spread it. I don't want to get it on top of the walls too much, but I do want to fill this gap all the way around. Push it over like that. Now if it goes up the edges a little bit, that's fine. And I'm just going to run around all the edges just like that. And that's what we're going to end up with. So here's what you have, like that. So it goes all the way around like that, and it seals all the way around. Now I'm going to clean this just a little bit more around these edges on the wall side, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how we deal with the colors and how I'm going to deal with these two roofs as far as finishing them. Okay, so what I have here is I have some white glue on a piece of paper. I have my paintbrush. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the brush in the paint, and I'm just going to drag it right along the edges, and I'm going to cover this whole thing with glue. Just keep in mind, wherever you put the glue, the stuff we're putting on here is going to stick. Okay, so there we go. Now, what I have here is I have a tub of sand. Alright? I have a tub of sand. And all this is just regular play sand, and I happen to have some graphite in a container, and I just had one of those things of what would happen if I put the graphite, just a little bit of graphite, in the sand. And this is what I've come up with, and I think it works pretty good. You may or may not agree, but I like the effect. And I do this, like I said, on all my flat roofs. So now I'm just going to brush this around and make sure that it's everywhere that it needs to be. And this is part of the reason why we wanted to get all the corners and all the edges sealed up. And this is what you end up with. And I think it's a pretty convincing roof. I think it looks pretty good. I like it. I like the effect it gives, and it's not just a flat painted roof. And it looks a little more finished. So now I'm going to do the same to this lower roof. Now, as you can see, it is graphite and it does come off on your fingers, but it's a one-time thing, and you do it and it's done. And there we go. That's another done roof. So now these roofs are complete. The only thing missing, as I said, was the one vent pipe that comes up right over here. And that's it. That's the whole deal. And then I'm going to do the same on this roof over here. But again, I have to wait until I get my stuff done inside and you know, it's glued on and sealed up. So until then, it's done. And then next week we'll hit this other side, the roundhouse side, for the lighting. And we'll get that done, and I'll show you what I got. I think I got some good ideas for that. So anyway, so there it is. I hope you know, maybe found something new you can use. Maybe not. Maybe you hate it. I like it. I think it's great. It looks good. So thanks for watching the video. If you haven't subscribed and you're seeing this for the first time, please subscribe. Love to have you watching the videos. And thanks for watching. If you haven't visited my website, please visit. You can sign up for email updates there, so when I do photo updates over there, you'll get a notification. You'll know about it right away. It's mikestrains.wordpress.com. So until next time, happy modeling.